Hey Jade, how's it going? In bed with a headache. Oh man, I hope you feel better. I'm glad that you dropped something in the chat because I did not think anybody was here. So welcome, welcome. Hey Saskia. Yeah, if you guys need to stay off camera, that's totally fine. We'll give it maybe another minute and see if anybody pops in. But as always, we'll be starting with some grounding, a little bit of deep breath work today, which maybe will help the headache, Jade. I don't know. Time will tell. A little extra oxygenation can't help. Hello, Sarah. Yeah, we'll just let other people trickle in as they may. And we're just gonna start by arriving today with some deep breaths. I don't know about you guys, but I have had like a hectic day so far. So let's just be here and take some deep breaths, start to find a comfortable seat wherever you're at. If you can close down your eyes if that feels comfortable. For me and Sarah, can just make awkward eye contact. But I'm going to close my eyes. So start to close down the eyes. Start to slow down your breathing if you can. Really just notice the breath. Seeing if you can let the shoulders fall away from your ears any amount. Letting your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. And on your next inhale, make it a deep one. A big inhale through the nose. Little pause at the top. Open the mouth, exhale, let it go. Two more like that. Big inhale through the nose. Open your mouth, sigh it out. And then last one together. Make this your biggest breath so far today. Big deep breath. A little hold at the top. Big exhale, let go of something. And then go ahead and grab your workbook. Hopefully you have that nearby today. And we're going to go ahead and check in on the past week, the week we've had. So I'm going to grab mine. I'm going to set a little 5-minute timer. And we're just writing down all of our personal and professional wins from the last week. And as you all are wrapping up writing your personal and professional wins, or if you're just joining us, maybe doing that as well. If you want to pop some of those in the chat, we would all love to see them. And then we're going to go ahead and, as usual, list out our three most important tasks for the week ahead. And just an invitation, if you were here last week, to look at that goal setting that we did and the little action steps that will lead up to those goals being accomplished, and see where you can trickle them in. And we are still taking a couple minutes to write down those most important things for the week ahead, so feel free to share those as well. But I'm seeing a theme in the chat of us doing, like, not necessarily fun wins, but necessary things, like addressing things that needed to be addressed. So good work, everybody. Nice. I'm loving seeing all these, as usual, not just staring at you guys. I'm reading the chat, I promise. Yeah, always so exciting to see what all of us are doing and the things that we've got coming up. Nice. Okay, so if you are done, even if you aren't, feel free to, like, keep writing as we go. So today, and we hit on this a little bit last week, today we are even closer to the summer solstice. And this is a beautiful time of the year to reflect. We did our big May reflection last week. So if you haven't done that, I encourage you to go back and either watch the call or just go back in your workbook and do that in a self-guided way, because it's always so nice to reflect on a whole month. And I'm sure probably after this month, we'll reflect on the quarter. But today, what we want to kind of think about and lean into is the summer solstice. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing with our time today. We're doing a little bit of a guided meditation. We're doing some more guided journaling. Before we dive into that, I would also love to hear if you guys had any takeaways, any lingering thoughts from last week if you were here, or even any like ahas or integrations from what we've been talking about lately. And if not, that's totally fine too. Feel free to share it in the chat as well if you think of it. So if you have your journal today and not just your workbook, I highly recommend just going ahead and grabbing that, because you're going to need a little bit more space than you might have in your workbook. And we are going to dive into a little guided meditation. And I want to give the disclaimer as well. I know that like meditation is not everybody's favorite, and specifically visualizations are not super easy for everybody. I think we chatted about this like maybe a month or so ago. And I know Alicia herself is not like a big guided meditation person. So I just want to give like the caveat, the disclaimer here, that even if that is you and you find it difficult to stay with a visualization during the duration of the meditation, I just invite you to like enjoy some time being still with yourself uninterrupted and focusing on your breath. Like that is all you have to do. And it's a huge bonus if you get something out of the guided meditation. But just an invite to like resist distractions, your phone if you can. And something slightly different, I'm going to invite those of us that do have our cameras on to turn our cameras off while we're meditating, because I think it's another way to kind of block distractions. So I'm going to turn mine off. Okay. I know it's kind of weird that I'm logged into Alicia's account here, but we are mostly going to have our eyes closed. So when you are ready, go ahead and get any wiggles out. Find a comfortable seat. And this meditation is actually tapping into the felt sense of abundance. So we're going to cultivate that feeling of abundance, meaning a felt sense within the body and the mindset that we embody as a result. And if that just sounds like a bunch of words, that's okay. We'll get there. So just start focusing on the breath, not changing it, not fixing it in any way. An abundant mindset is one that is leaning into positivity, particularly in seasons of change. And whether we have really thought about it or not, this season that's headed toward the summer solstice season here in a week or so is the perfect time to think about like change and growth and releasing, because once the summer solstice reaches its peak, it also marks the passing of the longest day of the year. And it does mark letting go of the days as they begin to shorten again, which for those of us who like fall feels like a breath of fresh air. And for those of us that aren't quite ready for that change, it can feel kind of bittersweet, but it's just another way that our own lives mimic nature's cycle. So there's this constant state of change and growth, reaching a peak, and then letting go and growing again. And how that relates to abundance is that this mindset chooses courage and action over fear through whatever changes that are happening. It's one that chooses trust and that has more fluid thinking. Coming back to the breath, noticing your body broadly, and maybe even beginning to deepen your breath a bit deeper, a bit fuller. On your next breath, just notice it coming from all the way at the base of the spine up through the body, the chest, just feeling your energy elongate up through the crown of your head. And then in your own time, open your mouth and let it go. Softening the shoulders, softening the mind and the face. Take that big deep breath again from the base of the spine to just above the crown of the head. Feel the spine elongate while grounding down through your feet. Softening here. And in your own time, open the mouth and release. Last big deep breath with this visualization. So energy coming from all the way at the base of your spine up through the top, the crown of your head. Open mouth, big sigh, let it go. And then bringing your breath in and out of your nose. Bringing awareness to your body. And starting to visualize a golden ball of light within your body. And this golden ball of light is shining brightly, and it's inviting a felt sense of warmth and positivity. And as you're breathing, visualizing this golden ball of light, it begins to expand out from center, moving into every cell of your body. And this golden ball of light, this inner glow, if you will, represents that feeling of abundance, a feeling of enoughness, inner joy, lightness, positivity, and courage. And just staying with that visualization, as you breathe, this golden ball of light moving into every single cell of the body. And in your mind's eye, begin to visualize your future self. It could be later on today, could be tomorrow morning, later this week, further. Just visualizing yourself, starting to move about your day from this abundant place and this felt sense. Noticing how you carry yourself, your body language, your interactions, through this inner feeling of joy and trust. Noticing how you walk, how you interact with other people you see every day, and how you talk to yourself from this place. And if there's anyone challenging in your life right now, or even a challenging situation, notice how you approach that and show up from this place. If you can visualize that, what would that look like? Noticing how you hold space for yourself, how you act, and then taking your visualization to wherever else you want to take it in your day, whatever's coming up for you, and just seeing yourself responding from this place for a few more breaths. Slowly releasing that visualization, coming back to your body. Place your left hand to your heart and right hand to your belly. Tuning back in, maybe back to this inner glow that we started with. As you inhale, breathe from the soles of your feet and visualize this golden light. Again, light up every part of your body. Staying here for a couple more breaths. Still visualizing every inhale coming from the soles of the feet up through the top of the head. And full exhales. Just resting in this inner feeling of abundance, which is one of courage and action, joy and positivity, and one that's also grounded. And in your own time, let her open the eyes, move your hands, move your feet. Feel free to pop your camera back on when you're ready. But most importantly, head to your journal and just take a few moments to write down whatever came up for you. I'm going to set about a 3-minute timer for that, and then we'll move into some guided stuff. So feel free to keep writing if you have more that came up. And we're going to, with these couple of guided journaling questions or these prompts, we're kind of tapping back into that first part of what I said about summer solstice being actually like releasing, preparing to release that longest day of the year and just thinking about change. And specifically, this prompt is, what have you let go of in your life this year? And what are you actively letting go of? And I'm going to put that in the chat so that you guys can write it down if you want and remember it. And we'll do 4 minutes on this one, but let me know if you need more time. We're getting right around to the 4-minute mark there. And you guys just let me know in the chat if you feel like you need more time. Those of you that are off camera, looks like maybe you're still writing, Shanzi. Do you need a couple more minutes? Okay, awesome. And because we don't have many people today and most are off camera, we're probably just going to boogie to the next question. So it's related. It's kind of that same theme, but slightly different. The next question is there anything in your life that you're currently grasping onto that is making you feel sad, stuck, or scared? I'm going to type that in as well. And again, is there anything in your life that you're currently grasping onto, you feel? And just whatever comes up there, take a few minutes. So our next prompt is actually an add-on to this one. And again, I'll put it in the chat. And it's just from that reflecting on if there's anything in your life that you're currently grasping onto, which is a juicy question. Thank you, Jay. It is, if so, what would change about your life if you let that go, if you stopped grasping onto it? And specifically, what would it clear space for? Anybody want more time on that last prompt? Okay, awesome. And again, I encourage you guys that are off camera, but still joining us to share kind of what came up if you're open to it. I would love to hear maybe what you've let go of so far this year. I think it's so interesting to hear like what we're all going through and releasing and like being brave by letting go and leaving in the past. Like that's not an easy thing to do. But it is super important to reflect on it, see what we might be grasping onto before we go into the second half of the year. So does anybody feel like sharing? Sarah or Shanley, if you want to?
Sure. For me, it was interesting to see that how what I've been trying to let go of and still actively trying. Like for me, they were both the same things. Like I feel I've taken few steps, but I still find myself back into the same stuckness. Like of this, maybe a life or a job or in like every aspect. Like this is how it should be. This is what I want. Instead of being in present, like always thinking of future.
Yeah.
But also the thing that is keeping me stuck is or makes me sad is this as belief, I guess, that this is how it is. Like this is as good as it gets. So I think
Mm-hmm.
like I could see the like like in law of or any the because I'm not even believing truly believing that more is possible. Um so I mean how will more happen? So I guess
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. That's a powerful thing to let go of, right? I think like that limiting ourselves. That's the big one, Shannon. I think we all do that. And what about you, Sarah? Look like you were about to maybe share. I think you're on mute still. Or I can't hear you. I don't know. It doesn't say that you're on mute, but we can't hear you.
yeah. Is it maybe on your keyboard that it's mute? Sometimes that's
Maybe.
for me.
No, no luck.
Oh, no.
Oh, there you
Oh,
are.
yeah. I just had to switch my microphone. I don't know why it was picking up the wrong one. Um, I think these are sort of like lifelong lessons, or that I'm sort of always learning, whatever that is, my thing in life that I'm working on. And it's always trying to actively let go of sort of it feels sort of like perfection or like the illusion of control, right? Like if I just do all of the right things, then everything will be perfect. And just sort of always working on letting that go. And when I'm able to sort of let that go in part, there's always more space for like just ease and peace, right? Like just sort of that feeling of spaciousness. Because I don't know, for some reason for me, the like illusion of control is very like tight
Yeah.
and sort of grasping. That was like a really good word because it is. It's like I'm not letting
Yeah.
go. I'm gonna just white knuckle it through. But
I can hard relate, Sarah. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, one of the things I wrote down was there is that like that grasping for control. And I think kind of what goes hand in hand with the grasping for control is grasping for like predicting what's coming. For me, that's a big part of it. And it's just not possible to do that at the same time as being present. Like it is not possible. So love that. Thank you for sharing. Looks like we have Jade. Talk about a juicy. I had a juicy question. You have a juicy response here. It's a good one. Long one. Worthiness tied to productivity. Ooh, yeah. That's on my actively letting go of list. I don't know how you guys did that first one, that first prompt, but I made kind of lists of like have let go of this year, actively letting go of. And in actively letting go of, it was worthiness tied to productivity. I'm just reading Jade's response here. Jade said, in your reflections from this year, you mentioned releasing this attachment to the idea that worthiness is tied to making money, being productive, being successful. This seems to have been a significant shift in your mindset so far this year. Yeah, that's beautiful. And it is, like you said, Sarah, it's like a lifelong thing. It's not like you check the box and you're like, I let it go. Unless it's like something very specific and tangible that you let go of. Like one that I let go of was actually um, finally letting my last EMS certification expire. I don't know that like all of you know this about me, but I was a flight paramedic for many years. And I like actually finally let that certification go. And it was like, whew, what a mixed bag of emotions, just like letting anything go. So proud of us all for being brave and showing up in that way.
I'd
I
love,
have some. Was that you, Saskia?
yes, I'm
Okay. Okay. No,
there.
you're fine. Go ahead.
I wanted to just still verbally share because I so relate to what you were just talking about, what a lot of you were talking about, in the sense of a need for control. I wrote about my relationship with my husband and for it to needing to look a certain way or feel a certain way that I have created in my mind. And I pretty much wrote down what you said, which was amazing, which was like, it's hard to be present when you're trying to control something. Like it's almost impossible because, and my own need for wanting something to look a certain way is so strong that I can't just appreciate what is. And so I'm
Yeah.
trying that. So
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad you piped in, Saskia. I think
yes.
that's
And I loved your visualization. It really it
okay.
worked for me beautifully. So thank you. I love visualizations.
I do too. I'm a fan. I'm glad you liked it. I hope everybody did. Yeah, that's a beautiful reflection, Saskia, about relationships specifically and how that can manifest, like us constantly, even if it's not controlling, it's like predicting. And I think we often shortchange the relationships we're in, not just romantic relationships, but like friendships, relationships in general with people. Like we miss, and by we I mean me, right? Like this is something I grapple with too, but sometimes I miss the ways that people are showing up for me because I'm too busy trying to predict and control how I want it to be. So that's a really beautiful reminder for like all the relationships, all the interactions. So I do have a bunch of other prompts for mid-year, but obviously we have like 6 minutes, so we're not going to do those. But I'm going to send in Telegram a mid-year journaling and reflection workbook that I have. So it has kind of the other side of the coin of this. Like we talked a lot about just releasing and letting go and being present, which is a beautiful thread of this. And I think just seasonal living in general, like paying attention to the seasons, lends itself to being more present. So that's just like a good reminder to tap into that on a regular basis. But the rest of the prompts in that workbook are more tailored towards like the next 6 months. So if you guys decide to check those out, I will link it in Telegram. Would love to hear how they go for you. And thank you so much all for being here, for hanging out with me. It sounds like Alicia is going to be back next week. So I know we're all looking forward to seeing her soon. And I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you.